For you, the listeners of JavaScript Jabber, Loot Crate is offering an opportunity to save 10% on any new subscription at lootcrate.com. Just enter the promo code BRIDGE10 for 10% savings. Loot Crate is one of my favorite things. Every month I get a box in the mail. It costs less than $20, and it comes with all kinds of goodies. I have stuff from, just looking at my shelf, Batman, Spider-Man, Ninja Turtles, Back to the Future, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and much, much more. So if you're a geek, a gamer, anything like that, and you want cool stuff to put around your office, cool t-shirts, comic books, etc., then definitely check out Loot Crate. To save 10% on your new subscription, go to lootcrate.com/Ruby. Again, that's lootcrate.com/Ruby to save 10% on any new subscription. Enter the promo code BRIDGE10 for 10% savings.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another JavaScript Jabber. This week, we're still live at Microsoft Connect, and I'm talking to Kirill. I'm not brave enough to try and say your last name, so I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
It's Kirill Gavrylyuk. I work on Azure CosmosDB.
Awesome. Now, are you, it seems like sometimes we get developers and sometimes we get like project managers. Where do you fall on that?
I'm a dev manager, one of the dev managers on CosmosDB.
Okay, cool. And I did some looking at CosmosDB because I don't remember who I was talking to, but they mentioned that they were using it as a graph database, and I'd had it in my head. I was like, I thought it was a document database, and it turns out it does all those things. Yeah. So do you want to kind of explain what it is?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just a quick. The key things about Cosmos database is it's fully managed, right? You don't need to worry about CPUs, etc. You just tell us what throughput you need.
Okay.
It's globally distributed.
Right, in the Microsoft data centers.
Everywhere, wherever Azure is. So the nice thing is that you can bring your data anywhere where your users are.
Right.
You can be, for example, Azure Portal is a great example. It's a website. It's a website that is used all over the world.
Right.
It's a website that uses CosmosDB, distributed across, I think, 26 to 24 regions in the public cloud.
Wow.
And as worldwide websites do, it has some interesting failover policies, for example. It goes around the clock with writes. So it writes to the region where the sun is, because that's where the most traffic is.
Right.
So you can be pretty creative. Azure CosmosDB is a multimodal database, as you observed. It has a core data model where we map everything to, and that is JSON++ data model. But it takes graphs, it takes Mongodb for documents, it takes key value pairs, it takes wide column families. We just added Cassandra API.
Right. Yeah, which is also pretty exciting.
Yes. We're very excited. With Cassandra, Cassandra is very well known for its scale and for it's an awesome open source database. And with CosmosDB, ability to bring you, which Cassandra is not known for simplicity. So bringing you a fully managed service where you don't need to worry about tuning config, adding nodes, building replica clusters.
Right.
That can take your data anywhere, but offers you a familiar API that you like and gives you guaranteed performance, guaranteed latency characteristics, which you care about as a Cassandra developer. Likely you chose Cassandra for a reason.
Yep.
That's very exciting for us.
Yeah, as a person who has tried to set up Cassandra several times over the years, I can tell you that, not having to manage all that stuff, because it's a whole different knowledge set than, hey, I'm going to write some code and I'm going to talk to the database. So, it makes sense too. I mean, you've got, like you said, you've got the key value pairs, you've got so if you want to do like Redis type stuff or Memcache type stuff, you've got the document store, which is pretty popular in the JavaScript world. We're finding, with the MongoDB type stuff. Yep. And I don't remember what CosmosDB was called before, but it specifically...
It was DocumentDB, yes.
DocumentDB.
It started as a document database.
Right.
We quickly realized that there is a lot more that we can do to help.
Yeah.
And that's the other point that we've always strived for, is that we do not claim to be the masters of the API.
Right.
MongoDB API is a great API. So flexible. People like it.
Well, there are libraries that are already written for it too.
Yes,
so
exactly. So we just take it, we implement it at the protocol level, so people can take advantage of all those drivers.
Yeah. Oh, I want to roll this into Azure. Boom.
Yeah.
And that's nice. I don't have to manage my MongoDB server on my Linux server anymore.
Nice.
Or, I don't have to have 10 different services, one for my database and one for my authentication and one for this and one for that, which is one of the nice things about Azure in the first place. It's all in one place. You can set it all up. And if you're already using Mongo, you can just roll it in, which is really, really nice.
Yep. The other benefits we had is we were able to learn from others. Right? Systems like Cassandra and Mongo have been out there since the inception of NoSQL movement, and learning from their successes and mistakes is very good and educational. So we didn't have to reinvent a lot of things. There were a lot of learnings, and because we could offer to customers in a way that makes it very scenario oriented. Like, let's take consistency, something that not that many people like to think about. And if you tried Cassandra, you quickly discover there's about 50 knobs of controlling consistency. Now, for a person who probably haven't even thought about consistency to begin with, learning 50 knobs and how they interact, what do they do, it's daunting. So we offer you scenario-based, practical 5 choices with a clear trade-off: consistency versus performance. So that's it's good to be able to learn from these things as we implement these APIs and offer you something that actually makes sense and easier to digest, and improve where we can improve.
Right. Now, one of the things that I think I had in my head, I've talked to a lot of people about Azure over the last year and a half, and I don't have it in my head anymore, but I know this is a conception that people have, is that, oh, well, if I put it in Azure, that's Microsoft and it's expensive. So, what kind of pricing models do you have for this? Is it all based on throughput, or is it database size, or what are we looking at here?
It's throughput. So because it's a system that offers you independent scale on throughput and data size, you pay for throughput you provision. And you can provision the throughput with API call or with UI in the portal, and you can change it up and down. That's a nice thing compared to VMs, which take time to deprovision, provision, and tune the config. With CosmosDB, it's one API call, and you can go from 5,000 requests per second to 10 million requests per second and back, depending on when you need. And you pay only for the throughput that you provision on that hour. It's hourly based, so you don't have to provision and pay a lot of money when you don't need.
Right.
You pay for storage. It's cheap, and you pay as you go. There's some price for a gigabyte.
Yeah, it's similar metering to AWS or Google Cloud Platform or whatever, right?
Yep. Yes, the throughput provision systems that allow provisions throughput. There is always a concern. Okay, if I forget about it, it can run up the bill.
Yeah.
So we offer you a very easy way to scale up and down. You can write a function that will just monitor your metrics, monitor your API rate, and scale up and down.
Oh, that makes sense.
And eventually, we'll offer you an automated auto-scale system that can do. It really depends on what you want, how aggressive you want the auto-scale to be. So right now, we give you the tools, and you do it. Eventually, we'll probably codify some turnkey patterns and auto-scale.
So one other thing that I'm looking at with this is, with key value pairs or document databases, there are a lot of different paradigms, and you said there's a core data model behind it. So does that mean that I can switch between the different paradigms, or are they all kind of thought about differently?
You can switch where it makes sense.
Right.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to switch, let's say, from MongoDB to Azure Table API. There's probably not a lot of scenarios for you that require you to do that. But it does make sense to add edges to your documents and start treating them as vertices.
Right.
And that's a scenario you can easily do. It does make sense if you move, let's say, your Cassandra implementation, and later on, I really want a bit richer data model. You can enrich it, so you can switch.
Right.
So yes, you can switch. It works for scenarios where it makes sense. I would not claim that, yes, you can go from anywhere to anywhere on the same data and it just magically appears nice and tight. It's just that's not what most people need.
Right.
You can start from any entry point. Underneath the covers, it's the same core data model that we
Gotcha. Huh. So, I mean, how do you decide what goes into this? Because it seems like an everything database. I mean, you're probably not going to use it that way, but...
Yeah, I think really what we are about is you can come to us from any data point, from any entry point. Usually, folks choose CosmosDB when they have a problem. I don't just wake up one day and say, I'm not going to use SQL. I'm going to use CosmosDB for my, my catalog. But once I have a problem, okay, I probably need to move to a NoSQL database, or maybe I already have MongoDB and it's hard to manage. Or I have Cassandra and I'm spending a lot of DevOps cycles on managing, and that's when I move.
Right.
Hence, we offer you the multimodal approach because you can come with
anything, with whatever,
whatever you're using, and you can now take advantage of the core capabilities. Our role is to offer you that fully managed, globally distributed guarantees on throughput, latency, and consistency. That's what we are known for. You come with API you love, and we love you back.
What does the migration path look like then? So let's say I have a PostgreSQL or a MongoDB or something.
There are two parts to it. There is, migration of the app is connection string. Just change the connection string. Now you're pointing, your driver doesn't even know that it's pointing to CosmosDB. Migrating data.
Data.
Yeah, migrating data. There are various ways of migrating the data snapshots over. There are lots of tools within Mongo ecosystem to migrate data between Mongo databases.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true if you have the full
Mongo
API.
input, Mongo expert, so they continue to work. You can use it. Real-time data gets interesting, so that's something that we are very passionate about. We don't have a turnkey solution for it, so right now you have to basically write a you can write a function.
Yeah, you play the dual write game for a while until, okay, use that.
Yeah, either dual write or you listen on an op log and you write into CosmosDB and it becomes your non-voting replica and eventually you can fail over.
Right.
There are strategies. It makes sense to make it easier. That's one. Data migration is one of the areas that we want to invest more in. We announced data migration service. And there's lots of databases that we can do it with. And it depends on, every API comes with its own ecosystem of tools. And those tools work because we support it at the protocol level.
This episode is sponsored by Linode. Linode is offering listeners of this podcast a $20 credit, which is good for 4 free months at their lowest plan. Their plans start at 1 gigabyte of RAM for $5 a month. You can get your servers in any of their 10 data centers, and their high memory plans start at 16 gigabytes. Get a server running in under a minute. They do hourly billing with a monthly cap on all plans and add-on services like backups, node balancers, Longview, etc. VMs for full control, running Docker containers, encrypted disks, VPNs, etc. You can run a private Git server. They provide native SSD storage, 200 gigabit network, and Intel E5 processors. They have 24/7 friendly support, even on holidays, and a 7-day money-back guaranteed. So go check them out at linode.com/JavaScript Jabber.
Makes sense. That's really interesting, too. Now, do these databases take like large blobs of data? Because I've seen people store like images in databases and stuff.
Right. We offer a couple solutions for large data. You can use our attachments for binary because it doesn't make sense to just store a really large image as a document record. You're abusing the system. You can chunk your data always, and because we reliably guarantee you the consistency levels that you like. So you can take, your Mona Lisa image, chunk it up, and we'll make sure that you can reassemble it at any time, and it's going to be in order. It's going to be nothing gets lost. So there are a variety of approaches. I actually prefer chunking. Usually recommend when you really care about it's really large data, but you care about performance and you care about the global distribution. It's a lot more accurate if you do it by chunking and storing as documents or entries or rows, as opposed to storing it as an attachment.
Right.
You get a lot more correctness out of the system.
That's good to know. Why is that?
Well, for example, let's say you want a particular level of consistency. Let's say session consistency. People choose on the spectrum between eventual consistency and strong.
Right.
Now let's say let's say strong consistency. Now, if you're talking about attachments, we're storing them on blob storage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different system.
Right.
That blob storage does not have the same level of replication that CosmosDB has, right? So it's not. Azure blobs do have replication, but it's more of for DR purposes, right? So you don't get the same. You may end up having a record in your replica in your read region somewhere, and the blob hasn't traveled there yet.
Right.
So you may get into those scenarios. If you chunk it up and you store it in our database, then you are guaranteed, like you picked session, and then anyone with that session token will always get the writes that you need.
Right.
But you pay only for the cost of eventual consistency.
Okay.
You pick strong, you're guaranteed that anyone will get your writes immediately as they're committed. And it doesn't matter how large your image is, it's chunked into pieces.
That makes sense. So what kinds of use cases are you envisioning people using CosmosDB for?
NoSQL systems in general, and CosmosDB in particular, are usually used when people run into a problem. And these problems could be high throughput, these problems could be large volumes of data, these problems could be large variability, there's no schema. That's when kind of traditional RDBMS systems become challenging and people looking for solutions. CosmosDB is great at all for all of those, and it comes with additional bells and whistles like global distribution, guarantees on throughput, latency. What we see is a lot of real-time data scenarios, real-time experiences, real-time data, IoT telematics, of course. We see a lot of kind of event-driven application patterns. You use CosmosDB as an event store. Actually, most retailers need it in one way or the other. And the architectures, typically you have an event store and the events coming in, and then you have a bunch of microservices that are processing those events. Very common pattern with CosmosDB, and CosmosDB comes as a highly scalable, queryable, real-time queryable event store. So that's nice. Lots of traditional NoSQL system needs the catalogs where the schema varies, and just storing semi-structured data that works pretty well. Engagement scenarios where the real time and kind of context, but like the apps that need context-aware behaviors. In CosmosDB, latency. The lack of need to specify schema, as well as the speed that it gives you, that helps. As also would be probably the most common patterns. Obviously, messaging, the traditional NoSQL scenarios apply as well.
And then you mentioned that it uses the Mongodb API and the Cassandra API. What other APIs does it support?
It offers, for documents, data models, it offers SQL API. We kind of we have a variant of SQL that works for documents. Or MongoDB API. For graphs, it uses Gremlin API, which is Apache Gremlin project. For white column stores, it offers Cassandra API. Key value pairs, it offers. You can choose either Cassandra or Azure Table Storage. I think that's. But you can use Spark, but it's sort of more of a side system.
Very cool. Now, if people want to try it out, is this something that only exists in the cloud?
We have an emulator that you can run locally. We also, important for trying out, we have a no commitment, no subscription required 7-day. You can just go to a website, log in with your live ID, and get your CosmosDB fully featured for 7 days. No need for credit card, no need for subscription. And we have a traditional 1-year-long Azure free tier with included amounts for CosmosDB.
Yeah, I think they said that in the keynote yesterday, that it's like you get $200 credit in the trial, and then you get like a free Linux machine, a free Windows machine, and a free
CosmosDB for some amount.
Yeah.
For a year.
Yep.
Very nice deal.
Yeah. So I mean, you have plenty of time to kind of kick the tires.
Yes.
Yep. And then if you have to scale beyond that, then you do. But yeah,
then you probably have a reason to do it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that I'm finding, because I've kind of gone, I spend about half of my time doing development and the other half of my time doing business stuff. And most of my development stuff is for my business stuff. But if I can work things out so that I don't have to spend as much time pulling things together, like I've gotten really, really bullish on picking up services that do what I need instead of writing the code myself if I can. And so this just looks nice because it's, okay, I don't have to spin up an Ubuntu Linux machine, install MongoDB on it, hope I hardened it well enough, manage it so that it's getting updates or at least security updates on a regular basis. All of that goes away, and it's just, oh, well, I'll just pay Microsoft to manage my database for me, and all I have to do is make sure that data goes in the right way and comes out the right way.
And until you're really using it for business, you don't even have to pay.
Yeah.
Because there is enough free tier for you to try things out.
Yeah, well, and even then, I mean, if I have a handful of beta users, I probably still may not push it over that.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's exciting stuff. And I've seriously been thinking after seeing some of the demos and stuff about moving some of my stuff to Azure.
It's very, like now we are at the point where the applicability is so broad, and yet the system is so tuned. Pretty much every Microsoft product uses this now.
Right.
Lots of enterprise customers have their business bet on it.
Yeah, but even for me, that's kind of a small business. I mean, it's like, oh, okay, so I can write my code and say, okay, make it into a Docker container and push it up. Yeah. Point it at a CosmosDB. There are all kinds of other tools that are built in. I could manage conceivably, I don't know if I want to go this far, but I could even move my Git repos to Visual Studio Team Services and use all those tools to manage the whole project. And everything just kind of lives in one place, which makes life easy for me.
Or you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, and any of those pieces that I just mentioned, I can keep it on GitHub or GitLab, or, I can find some other Kubernetes setup and push Docker up there or whatever. But anyway, really cool. Is there anything else that people should know about CosmosDB? I mean, at first I was like, oh, it does all these things. It sounds kind of complicated, but it seems pretty simple on the face of it. It's just, how do you want to think about your data?
It is, yes. And it's really, you don't have to think and learn about all those APIs, right?
Right.
Like if you have a Mongo database and you're tired of managing it, or you want to, or you have really lots of data, or you need large throughput, you can save a lot of time for yourself and money by moving it over to CosmosDB, and you don't need to learn about anything else.
No, you just migrate your data in. You tell Mongoose, because this is a JavaScript podcast, tell Mongoose to look over there instead of over here. And,
Exactly. It's not... the multimodal approach is not too complicated. Multimodal approach is to speak your language.
Right.
You don't have to worry about others.
Yep.
Until the time when you believe that you need to.
Yeah. One other thing that does come to mind is if I'm working on my own product and I want to periodically, replicate the production database so that I can run run reports or run tests or do staging on, a different setup.
Yep.
Is that pretty easy with CosmosDB?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So we have, just like many of systems, we offer you changelog, change feed. So you can listen and you can create your own.
So you just set up replication, not too much.
We are a distributed database, so you can have your read replicas everywhere. So you can take a snapshot of it and work with it.
Right.
So there are many different options for you to work with it.
Super cool. So the one last segment that we do for the shows is picks. And essentially what it is just a shout out to whatever you've been enjoying lately. So, it could be anything from TV shows to technical tools to, programming things to, gee, there's this other wicked awesome database that we want to add to CosmosDB or anything like that. Do you have 2 or 3 things that you just kind of want to shout out? Hey, I've really been enjoying this.
Do you run your own freelance business? Or maybe you're thinking about picking up some business on the side? Well, then you need FreshBooks. FreshBooks is the quickest and easiest way to get invoices out to your clients. It's easy to use. It works anywhere, available from any device, on the desktop, iPhone, iPad, Android, and all of your data is backed up and secure. And it makes it really easy to get organized and get paid. You'll be tracking time, logging expenses, and invoicing your clients in no time. You can also save time billing, freeing up several days per month to focus on the work that you love, and you get paid faster. FreshBooks customers are paid on average 5 days faster because there's a link on the invoice that says pay me now. And it's a great way to grow your business. Plus, FreshBooks is offering a 30-day trial. That's right, 30-day trial if you try them out. So go to gofreshbooks.com/devchat and enter devchat in the How Did You Hear About Us section. Once again, for a 30-day trial, go to gofreshbooks.com/devchat and enter devchat in the How Did You Hear About Us section.
Well, I really loved the demos that Chris did at Keynote with shared debugging and VS Code.
Yeah, we talked to Chris yesterday.
Awesome. Yeah, and like I was like, oh man, okay, Chris, you better come to our team and demo it again.
Yeah, I was grinning and going, I've wanted this for so long.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you don't think about it, but it's like now that you could have done that. Oh, I didn't have to go and explain over IAM to someone. No, don't click there. Don't click here. No, next line. No, next line.
Yeah.
Like says the share screen debugging was always such a pain.
You highlight it. I'm looking at this bit of code.
Yeah, I said like, oh, which one? No. It blew my mind.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to jump in here with one pick, and this is something that has been really, really handy, especially since I've been here in New York. I'm always looking for better ways to work outside of my office, just because sometimes I just need a change of pace or something, right? So I'll go to Denny's or something where they have plugs under the table and Wi-Fi. And, I like working on my laptop. I have a brand new MacBook Pro. But one of the things that I was just like, you know what? If I'm sitting in a booth by myself, it's nice to have another monitor. And I found on Amazon, it's USB powered and driven monitor for I think it was like $100. And it's an AOC monitor. And so, I had to install the driver, but that was it. And then when I go and set up, all I have to do is plug the USB into the dongle. That's the one thing I hate about the new MacBook Pro is it's all USB-C, Thunderbolt 3. But I just plug that into the dongle, and it powers and drives the monitor. So that's it. And it has a little kickstand thing on the back, so I just set them up side by side, and I've got dual monitors when I'm working away from home. So
it's amazing how low voltage they became, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm just imagining where things go from here, but it's not. That's awesome. It's not incredibly high resolution, but it's good enough.
Nice. So you can have multi-model monitor setup right in Denny's.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So I'll probably set it up right out here when I'm done and get some work done between recordings. So I'll put a link to it in the show notes, folks. But thanks again, Kirill.
Thank
if
you.
people want to follow you, say on GitHub or Twitter, or maybe have a blog or anything like that.
Kirill G MSFT on Twitter. You can find us. We blog as a team, so we have the team blog on Azure blogs, and we're excited to share always what we have.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming and talking to us live. This room's not as echoey as the one yesterday, so we'll sound better. But
great to be here.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, and we will probably have another interview from Connect next week.
Bandwidth for this segment is provided by CacheFly, the world's fastest CDN. Deliver your content fast with CacheFly. Visit CACHEFLY.com to learn more.